Okay. Okay. We are live. Welcome to Conversational Currency Live. Now, this is your fastest growing platform that focuses on the value and importance of social skills for business in a digital era. I like to give a special acknowledgement to all of the platforms that are tuning in live and loud for this exclusive discussion that you need to tune into. Now, communication is a superpower. What I want you to imagine is if you were able to say the right words in the right moments to every man or woman in a business setting, how different would the quality of your life be? Now, I'm your conductor of this journey. I'm Shadidi Laser, but today we have a special guest on this Timeline Talk edition. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your journey.
Oh man, so everyone, my name is Richard Rembert. I'm the face behind Rich Point of View. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, all those platforms. Pretty much, I'm a photographer and digital strategist. I got into, I guess, this way of life about 4 or 5 years ago. I used to work in hospitality. I was in hotels for about 6 years doing all that stuff. And then I moved up to New York. I was supposed to take over a hotel, but it just didn't feel right. And so I was like, let me try, this photography thing. And then, everything just took off. It took about 6 months, but after that, everything just took off. And so along that journey of photography, I got into the marketing and digital space because, obviously I wanted to get my stuff, around and have people view it. So I started diving into like social media marketing, digital marketing as far as like SEO, all that stuff like that. So yeah, that's so now we're here. So this is what 2020, 4 years later, just soaking up all those gems and then just putting it into my brand and helping others along the journey of reaching the masses, I guess we can say.
Excellent. Now, we live in a world where most of the platforms online from a social media standpoint went from, let's say, words to being more visual driven. Of course, your Instagrams and the rise of video is a big part of that. With your background as a photographer, can you give us some insights for the people who are watching this who may have a brand and they want to spruce things up? What are some things that the audience can do to make their brand more visual appealing based on your knowledge of photography?
Wow. So branded photography is a strong point. Professional quality photos, not, iPhone type stuff, even though they do take good pictures. You want something, you want professional headshots. So if you're a speaker, if you're, selling something, you want to have a professional look, and branded photography definitely helps with that. As far as visuals overall goes, the that's just the way you stand out these days. Visuals, as far as photography and video, especially with that emerging, that's just a huge, huge thing in the market. So whatever you're doing, always document everything. You can do that. You can learn yourself, and send it off to somebody to edit it, or you can hire somebody that's a professional to make sure that your branded content stands out amongst everybody else.
Now, I got my crystal ball over here, Rich, and the people are talking to. They send me signals. They say, "Listen, all the story is great, but we need to learn that Pinterest." They said that Pinterest, what they told me, and so they said, "Let's go into Pinterest and stop playing around, Shadi." That's what they just told me.
That's what they
So
told you?
that's what they told me. So tell us how you stumble upon Pinterest. And I say stumbled upon because most people look at Pinterest as like the last option or the option that, let's say, the beauty industry or the fashion model may look into. How did you come across this this gold mine of traffic that we know as Pinterest?
So I've used Pinterest. Oh man, this had to be maybe 5, 6 years. I used it as
Oh,
a mood board initially. So you can find, I'm sure that a lot of people that are watching this, they use it for the same thing. You find recipes, you can find workouts, you can find, um, for me specifically, like photographers, we look for like mood boards. You have an idea, you're like, oh, let me see this. So you go to random websites. Pinterest happens to be one of those where you stumble upon, you be like, oh, let me see this vision that I have in my head. Let me see it on a picture. And so it started out like that. And then I was on Google, and this is around the time, like maybe 2018, where I was like, I need to get more traction to my website. I was like, I'm doing well in New York, but that's it. It wasn't expanding no further than that. So I went on to, and this is funny because a lot of people, we just don't do this in general. We're on these social media sites, but we don't figure out the ins and outs of it. So I happened to, go to like the settings on Pinterest and just read about the random things on there. And it said a Pinterest business account. And I was like, oh, this is free. And so I started reading about it, and I was like, so I can pretty much reverse engineer how I was using Pinterest. So instead of being the consumer and looking for mood boards, I can put my stuff on there and have people come to me. And so that's where it started. And so, yeah, around 2018, I would say around October is where I just started diving into Pinterest, trying to figure out the ins and outs, looking at different blog posts on Google, all that stuff. And then it just started from there. So what I had an advantage of is I had so much content, whether it was published on my website or not, just having it on Dropbox, stuff that I threw away. It was like, oh, I'm not going to use this. When I realized that Pinterest was it's like a magazine. It's a glossy magazine. You're just on there looking for inspiration, photos, videos, and a lot of people shop on there as well. And so that's what, like I said before, it got me reverse engineering how I used it. And so instead of looking at it from a consumer standpoint, well, still as a consumer, I was like, how do I get these people to come to my site and whether read my blog posts, purchase my prints, purchase services? And so that's what I did.
That's excellent. Now 5 6 years. That's a lifetime online. So you have a vast amount of experience. So we're going to dive into this now. This next question is very important because when I look at a lot of online personalities, accounts on Twitter, so on and so forth, they are active on social media, but as you mentioned, they have not reverse engineered why it works, why it's working for them. So can you please, in just the most basic way possible, can you explain what traffic is and how Pinterest can help a brand if they are to increase their traffic?
All right, so this can go various ways. So from a basic standpoint, traffic is just people coming to your website to visit it for whatever reason, whether it be to buy something, to read your blog, to book a service. Um, the reason, especially being on all these social media platforms, the reason you want to bring that traffic back to your website is because you can get kicked off of these social media platforms at any given time. So to reverse engineer, like, yeah, we use it for, sometimes laughs and, just to crack humor or whatnot. But when you use these platforms for business, your brand just takes off because it's bringing a lot of people that you may not know personally into they, uh, into what you do, and they believe in you. And so this is why I stress a lot of people, once you start getting, traffic on all these social media platforms at the beginning, bring it all back to your website. So whether you're on Twitter, make a thread, have a consultation link or something at the end of that, brings people to your email list, bring your direct audience to your website. And so that's what I use Pinterest for pretty much. I get, tons of traffic, but the traffic is cool and all, but it's the people that are going into those, giving me their email addresses, buying my stuff, reaching out to me just via email, just like, hey, I like this, I like that. And I interact back with them because it's like, these are the people I'm directly talking to. These are my core audience. And so, yeah, That's pretty much it. So traffic it can be segmented into various ways. You got the analytics, so you could see what's driving traffic to your website, and you can cater to certain things. Um, you can develop new concepts and be like, okay, like I see I get a lot of traffic from here, so like let me throw my email list over there more. Let me throw these products over here a little more, just so you can get that revenue. But yeah, so like with that website traffic, I always tell people bring all that back to your website, because you just want your core audience. At the end of the day, you want to cater to them. Everything else is just noise.
Very important point. Very important point. So just to recap that vitamin of information you've just been given, when you're on social media, you have to think about this, let's say, and be more efficient in that if you're going to tweet, if you're going to post, if you're going to spend your non-refundable time on these platforms, there has to be an end goal if you're in business. Now, if you are, just trying to blow off some steam and you have a day job and you don't have any aspirations to grow beyond that, bless your heart. But this is for the people who are building an idea into a product or service, someone who has an existing business and are looking to pivot online, someone who is a speaker and may have a full-time career, but they're looking to expand and gain more eyeballs onto their ideas and grow bigger than who they are today. And it's also for the people who are looking to retire their parents, and the fact that their mom and dad are working offends them. That's who this is for. So when we talk about traffic, as you just broke down brilliantly, you tweeted a few times about, let's say, the Tripwire offer and the idea of, well, I want you to take us down in the most basic 101 fashion, so that, because some people will say the older brick and mortar business owner who listened to exactly what you said and said, well, okay, that's great, but how do I monetize the traffic? How do I take this attention to the next level? Can you take them down the path of the tripwire? I'm just going to sit here, take a few notes, and hopefully grow from this information.
Got it. So this can go different various ways too. So for me and my brand, since I blog, I have my email list in every blog post that I have. I have it on the homepage. Anywhere you can, anywhere on my site, you'll see my email list. So in doing so, every time somebody puts in their email, they're expressing that they want to hear more from me and my business. But after they get their email and whatever freebie I have to offer, whether it's something Pinterest related, something that's SEO related, or for my photographers that come over, whatever it's related, before they get that object or that PDF that they can download, there's a tripwire effect. What that is you have a product in a funnel, maybe on a countdown or a discount, or maybe you don't do a discount at all. It depends on, you do the metrics, you'll figure that out. But when somebody gets that email, when they send you their email address, you put in front of their face a product or offer that you have, and they have a choice of, am I going to spend money now, or I might spend money later? That's literally it. It's nothing, obviously the funnels are all different. You can set it up however you want. You can have a countdown, you can have a coupon, you can, it's various ways that you can do it, whether you're a small business entrepreneur or e-commerce store. So that's what that is. The tripwire is just bringing people to your website. So A, you can get their email address, but B, also, continuing that relationship where they buy something right then and there. That's literally it.
Okay, so let's recap this, because this is very important. When it comes to sales, when it comes to building a business online, the best time to sell is either A, at the point of interest. So the peak point of interest. So when someone converts or they take an action, meaning they subscribe, they download, they opt in. In Richard's case, he mentioned the example of opting into an email list. So you're being presented, once you've taken that step, the probability of you buying something, a product or service, is much higher, up to 60% higher, actually, according to the numbers, than if you weren't. So if you saw a direct offer on your timeline, buy now, you may need to see more impressions of that before you are to buy. But if you say, well, Rich Point of View's information is exactly what I want to solve a problem, and I opt in, and then I'm presented with the offer because I've already taken that step, is similar to, do you want fries with that? So the Tripwire is essentially an additional offer to complement that which you've already opted into. And for those of you who don't, you've heard funnel, funnel, funnel a million times. All I want you to do, we're going to take a triangle and we're going to turn it upside down. So at the base of the triangle at the top are all the people coming in. And it's an automated way to bring them from being merely curious. There's going to be more people on the timeline who are merely curious. You're automating the steps, the path, the journey, the timeline to becoming a paid customer. The beauty of the Tripwire is that when you're building a business, you want to make sure that your list of buyers, it has more value than your list of opt-ins, because those are the people who invested in you. So what Rich has mentioned, if you unpack that, it gives you a path to build a extremely powerful business. Now, when we talk about the amount of time that's needed to build a social media audience, according to different platforms, every platform has its own rhythm and frequency. So Twitter, you may need to show up on a timeline a certain amount of times, but then there's Pinterest. So can you give us an idea of how often do we need to show up as far as what we pin? You know, there's boards involved. It could be a maze to many people who don't have your insight. So from a general standpoint, what would you say is a healthy amount in terms of building a presence to show up each day on Pinterest?
Okay, so to start off with, you have to have, I would say the best way to read your analytics is to have a business account. So you always want to start off with that. You want to, claim your website or your digital assets through Pinterest. So, whenever somebody clicks on something, it goes back to your website. As far, when you're like your cover, what's the word I'm looking for? Your icon, make sure it's a picture of you or your business. Tell people exactly what you do and what you're there for. So for me, I, label, I'm a photographer and a digital strategist here to help people, whether it be photographers or content creators, with the tools to expand their, freelance life. Literally it. Then I create boards where everything is geared towards a certain thing. So the boards consist of, like, I have a portrait photography board where you're literally going there and see random photographs of portraits from whether it be me or other people on Pinterest. Starting out, I would, I would start pinning about 15 to 20 pins a day. So 15 to 20 pieces of content a day in specific boards. So, if you're a marketing person and you want to talk about social media marketing, all the stuff that whether you're posting it on Twitter or IG, make sure you put that in picture form or video form and put that on, onto Pinterest. Have people who are searching for that type of content, they can click on it, see who you are, go to your website and dive in deeper. So I would say, yeah, starting out 15 to 20 pins a day. If you want to grow at a faster rate, just like any other platform, the more you post, the more people are going to see it. As long as everything is optimized, and whether it's optimized and it's a clear message of what you're delivering, people are going to click on it.
Okay. Now, my next question. Now, this is only for the 2% of people who are going to do exactly what you just said. So they're going to pin and they're going to build from there. The rest, they might say that's great and lose focus. This is for the 2%. This next question. So, can you give us an idea? You've been on Pinterest for 5 to 6 years. You've obviously had success with it. Give us an idea of what life looks like for a business owner who follows the steps, dives deep into Pinterest. What are some of the things that can happen? Because there's many people who don't have a large Instagram following, don't have a large Twitter account, but they want to get there. So what is possible? How does it make their life easier? Why do they need to go down this journey? What are the results that they can experience?
Got it. So initially starting out, I would say around 2018, my website would probably get 100 views a day. 2020, what's today's date? May 19th, daily just from Pinterest is probably about 20,000 views a day.
Man.
And this is pictures from years ago. You know, everything from my portfolio, from blog posts, stuff that I may have pinned 2 years ago still gets traction to this day. So the one thing I will say, start off with Pinterest, is the lifespan of your content lives on a lot longer than the rest of these social media platforms. Twitter can be 30 minutes to an hour. Facebook, kind of the same. IG, probably less than that. Pinterest, like I said, for me, the lifespan is almost 2 years on content. And depending on your niche, and that's another key thing, you know, anybody, obviously we can all be successful on that platform. But, you know, if you're like in the fitness, you know, realm, if you're in food, if you're into, you know, beauty, stuff like that is what people are going to see inspiration for every day. So if you have your, you know, your content on there, it's a no-brainer at this point. You know, sometimes we get on IG and it's like we have to rely on so many various things with their algorithm. Pinterest is just nothing but pictures and videos. And as long as you know, you have a clear message of what you're showing, people are going to find it. So I would say, take those numbers that I mentioned earlier. My website was getting nothing, and I was on Twitter. I had IG following of like 10K, but nothing was coming back to my website. And maybe that was at my own doing. Like I wasn't marketing right. Like obviously now that I know what I know, would have did stuff a lot differently. But Pinterest is just, it's on autopilot at this point. I can post 5 times a day if I want, take 10 minutes, create something on Canva, put it out there, a new blog post, I'll throw it up there, and it just comes back all day long. And from, those viewers, I get tons of emails, which, leads up to a lot of tripwires, which brings me a lot of money. And I don't have to be, us being in business, that's what we want. We want our core audience to obviously believe in what we're doing, but also be proud to pay. Like Nip said, proud to pay movement. If you ain't gonna get with it, me personally, if you're not signed up to the email list, it doesn't really matter to me. You can view, you can, do whatever, but if you're that core audience on my email list, I'm catering directly to you. I'm speaking to you because you feel like, doing the same thing to me. And so that's what I want. People passing through, that's cool. The numbers are fine, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to, generate revenue. We're here to, like you said earlier, take care of our people. Like that's what we're in this for. So Pinterest has been one of those mediums that allowed me to bring in type of money that I just didn't see before,
Now, you mentioned if you knew what you knew. So right now, there are business owners who are serious. They are watching this, or they may listen to the replay, and they say, you know what? I need to get from New York to LA very quickly. And I don't need to take the the train. I need to get there quickly. And so they want to know what you know or have access to what you know so that they can get their brands up and running because they understand the value of everything you've just explained. So can you give them some insight into your consultation calls and what they can expect on the call?
Yeah, so for a Pinterest, the one consultation call I offer right now is the Pinterest one. It's a Pinterest consultation where we talk for an hour about what your goals are on the platform, what you're trying to achieve going forward, and the ways about going about it. And so this is a video call as well, where I record everything and show you the steps of. I show you examples. I show you things that I've done, people that are similar in your niches, what they're doing. Um, yeah, it's a wealth of knowledge that you can sit back and go back to, just to figure out your strategy. I tell you the ins and outs. I tell you certain things that you can do, what you can't do on there. It's a wealth of knowledge for somebody who is looking to gain the experience on that platform. It's a must have, in my opinion. And then I also have the ebook. The ebook, Pinterest Traffic, the Business Growth Hack, is literally a step by step guide of exactly what I did to achieve at the moment 30 million monthly viewers to my Pinterest. And so with that ebook, it has bonuses with, if you're somebody who's into ad spending, I literally show you, break down all the steps of how to do ads because, a lot of platforms, it's very bland. Like on Twitter, it took me a minute to be like, how did Twitter ads work? Like, yeah, you can read it, but it doesn't, it's not very specific. It's very broad. And the Pinterest ads, very forward. There's 6 different ways to do it. If you have an app, you can advertise on there. If you have, you can bring people to your email. It's various ways. And the cost per click is super cheap as well, just along the lines of Facebook, if not cheaper. So, you'll spend your money very, very wisely. Also show you what to do and not to do to, like, whether you want to get traction or not to get banned from there. Just a lot of things that, as far as spam and stuff goes, that we don't want none of that. You want to make sure you're creating authentic things that come back to your website. I'll show you even how to affiliate market on there and various programs that you can use if you don't have your own products. There's others out there that, outside of Amazon. Amazon's not the only one that's able to affiliate market. So I just show you various strategies and ways to conquer that platform for your basic needs and your audience. And whether you want to show your face on there or not, you can be anonymous on there and still get clicks and stuff to your website. There's certain people I know on there who don't show their face at all, but their brand is super strong on there. So yeah, those are the 2 things I offer as far as Pinterest goes, where if you really want to learn and hone in on the skills and not have to do trial and error, I literally show you everything that I did.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who want to take the fast track and get direct answers and get your brand up and running, the consultation call, 1 hour on video, will get you in the right direction. Let me tell you a personal story. I had a conversation with Rich, and it was about a wide range of topics, but then it honed into Pinterest. And for me, my numbers in terms of views. Now, I had a Pinterest account that was collecting dust. It was just off. It had tumbleweeds, cobwebs, everything, and it was very dusty. And he gave me some pointers to get started, and I paid attention. And now my growth is plus 140 in terms of overall views. So we're moving. We have some traction there. And for those of you who, let's say you're not ready to take the fast track, but you need to learn the ins and outs, and maybe you are a do-it-yourself type of professional or entrepreneur. So the ebook gives you the points A to Z, and maybe you want to take the train instead of the plane. So that'll give you the fundamentals that you need to build at your own pace, and then you can go for the consultation at a later time. Are there any final thoughts that you'd like to share with the audience regarding Pinterest, your business, and why brands need to be on Pinterest as we head throughout 2020?
Yeah, as far as why brands need to be on Pinterest, if you're everything is graphics based these days, whether it be picture or video, and that is the platform where your stuff can shine and last for, like I said, up to 2 years. So if you're, making content for IG, you might as well translate that over to Pinterest as well. And the lifespan is just it's gonna last a lot longer. So we want longevity instead of, just not the instant clicks. We want something that's gonna last for a while. And so yeah, so I would say bring your brand, the same thing you're doing on IG, you can literally do the same thing on Pinterest. It's just gonna be even better in the long run. As far as where you can find me at and stuff like that, on all socials, I am Rich Point of View. If you want to check out my Pinterest profile and see things that I do on there, it's Rich Point of View as well. You can find the ebook on my website at richpointofview.com. Find me on Twitter, Facebook, add me. I'm here to help answer any questions that you may have beforehand. Let's ready to take your brand to the next level on Pinterest.
Ladies and gentlemen, social media is more than likes, shares, and content. They are powerful search engines, and each social media platform is a search engine that is based on a specific topic or need. With Pinterest, you have the opportunity to access visual content, and it's one of the most powerful search engine visual mediums that exist online. What you've been given during this conversation is the blueprint, not only to get started, but why it's important to get started now, and additional tools and resources to fuel your journey to the next level. On behalf of Richard Rembert, I'm Shadidi Laser, and you've been tuning in to Conversational Currency, where we discuss the value and importance of social skills for business in a digital era. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with us. And for that, we appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you comment on the replay, and any questions that you have, we'll be happy to answer.